Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear students, greetings to all to the realm of learning. This is an online video class of National University of Bangladesh, and being the part of this study program as a resource person, I am Muhammad Habibur Rahman, lecturer, Department of English at Joshua Government City College, Joshua, continuously with you. Hopefully, you are following this video lecture attentively, and this is the time of corona pandemic, so in this time you should maintain the health rules, and all the best for all. So let's start our today's discussion. Dear students, you have already known that your university, National University, arranged this online video class, and as a research person, I have completed already 7 classes for you, and today I am with you with my 8th class. And you know that as a teacher or as a research person, I am conducting the course named Romantic Poetry, and this course is especially for the students of master's preliminary level who are studying at the Department of English. You know, in my last class, I delivered a lecture on Adonais by Percy Shelley, and today I am going to deliver a lecture on Ode to the Nightingale by John Keats. It's also a famous poem, and John Keats, who belongs to Romantic period, so in the history of English literature. So let's start our today's discussion, and hopefully you will be more up and doing to follow my lecture. I think it will be a great help for you if you follow this lecture staying at home. So at first I will show you the learning outcome today. After completing this online class, you will be able to understand this topic that I am showing here. This is the introduction to the poet, introduction to the poem, Ode to the Nightingale, background, summary, subject matters, theme, writing style, memorable quotation, and of course I will show you some stanza of the poem, also text also. So hopefully you will be with me. So at first, before going to discuss our main discussion, I should show you the introduction to the poet. So today's poet, John Keats, the famous for poet of beauty, and he has a premature death at the age of 25, that I have already discussed in my last class. Adonais. In Adonais you will you found the name of John Keats, and Adonais basically refers to John Keats, and that was written by Percy Shelley, his contemporary writers. So here we will find the writing of John Keats, especially Ode to the Nightingale. And John Keats basically his works aim to concentrate on extreme emotion through on emphasize on natural imagery. And today his poems and letters are some of the most popular and most analyzed in the history of English literature. So I think you will enjoy his poem. So now I will show you the introduction to the poem. So today I am going to discuss on, you have already known that Ode to a Nightingale. It is a ode. Ode, one type of a poem that addressing someone. And here it is a simple and unified or formal poem, a short poem, of course, and is one of the 5 great odes. John Keats have 5 odes. So among them, Ode to a Nightingale is one, and composed in 1819, and it is a personal poem. It is a personal and subjective, and which describes Keats' journey into the state of negative capability. Basically, in the poem you have the negative capability that suggests the pessimism. So pessimistic idea you will find from this poem, and the poem explores the theme of nature, impermanence, and mortality. So this is the basic idea from the poem. You will find the nature and permanence and mortality. Permanence, that is longer lasting, or impermanence, that is short living. So as a human, as a living being, there is no permanence, or there is no permanent activity or living or survival on earth. So this type of idea you will find. So that means the mortality, that means the death. So here you will find such type of theme here, and rejecting the optimistic pursuit of pleasure found within Keats' earlier poems. So here you do not find any optimistic pursuit. As a worldly person or a worldly being, you do not find any optimistic things, but in the earlier writing of John Keats you will find the optimistic idea. But in this poem you will find the mortality or impermanence or nature, especially nature. The poem is one of the most frequently anthologized in the English language. It is frequently discussed or analyzed. So now I will show you the context or background of the poem. So the poem Ode to a Nightingale was composed as Hampstead House Keats shared with Brown, and possibly while sitting beneath a palm tree in the garden. So this is the symbolic, John Keats sitting under the palm tree. And according to Keats' friends Brown, Brown, Keats shares a house with Brown, and Brown says Keats' friends, he says, Keats finished the ode in just one morning. And in the spring of 1819, a nightingale had built her nest near my house, and Keats felt a tranquil and continual joy in her song. However, Keats relied on both his own imagination and other literature as a sources of his depiction of the nightingale. So this is the simple background or context of the poem. Now I will show you critical appreciation in short about the poem. So here you will find the critical appreciation. So I have already told you. So the poem was published in 1819, and the poem consists of 80 lines. And it is the longest of Keats' odes, which includes poems like Ode on a Grecian and Ode on a Melancholy. So his famous poem Ode on a Grecian, this will be discussed in the next class. So hopefully you will be with me. And the poem focuses on the speaker standing in dark forest, listening to the charming and beautiful song of the nightingale bird. And this provokes a deep and twisting meditations by the speaker on time, death, beauty, nature, human suffering, and something that the speaker would very much like escape. So here you will find the word escape. Escape, that is flee from life. So for the pangs and suffering or pangs and pains of life. So this is the very idea. This is the common idea or common theme of the poem. So here you will find in this poem. So this is the critical appreciation, and I will show you the next slide for critical appreciation. At times, the speaker finds comfort in the nightingale song, and at one point, even believes that poetry will bring the speakers metaphorically closer to the nightingale. By the end of the poem, however, the speaker seems to be an isolated figure. The nightingale flies away, and the speaker, unsure of whether the whole experience has been a vision or a waking dream. So here in the poem, you have the shift or shifting of thought of the writer, because at the very beginning you will find that the speaker or the poet finds comfort at nightingale song, but another point there you will see that the writer says that nightingale, the song of nightingales will be fading, and then the speaker will be isolated figure, and the nightingale flies away, and then the death will be the best company of the writer. So such type of shifting or such type of sense of thought you will find in the poem. So I think, and at last you will say, is it a vision or walking dream. So this is such type of things you will find in the poem. Now I will show you the form or style of the poem. You know, the poem consists of 8 stanzas. So in this poem you will find eight stanzas and of 10 lines. So every stanza carries 10 lines, and the first 7 and last 2 lines of each stanza are written in iambic pentameter. You know, you have already known that iambic, unstressed and stressed syllable, and pentameter, you know, 5 feet consist of pentameter. So such type of writing style you will find every stanza, and the eighth line of each stanza is written in trimeter. Trimeter, you know, 3 feet you will find, and only 3 accented syllable instead of 5 there. A nightingale also differs from the other words in that its rhyme scheme is the same in every stanza. Each stanza in nightingale is rhymed a b a b c d e c d d. So all the stanza, all 8 stanzas have same rhyming pattern. So that is why the ode is very much special, and this is the basis of something throughout the odes. This is classical, like classical writing. So this is very much uniform and very much stylistics poem in case of style or writing style. So now I will go through the text. You know, this is a very long text, so that is why I will show you selected stanza. So at first I will go through the first stanza of the poem. You will find, my heart aches and a drowsy numbness pain, my sense as though of hemlock I had drunk, or emptied some dull opiate to the drains. Once minute passed and late yours had sung. This not though through envy of thy happy lot, but being too happy in thine happiness that thou light wings dread of the trees. In some melancholy spot of Venice green and shadows numbered less, singest of summer in full throats is. So actually, apparently, the language of the poem is not actually easy, but if we go through very closely, then you will find the meaning here. So here, this is line. This is the first stanza. So here, at first, the writer says, "My heart ache." Ache, you know, pain. For example, headache, you know, handache. So heartache, heartache, you know, the pain in his heart. So my heartache. Why? And drowsy numbness pains and heartache, so pain of heart, and drowsy, you know, that is sleeping mood, and numbness, the idleness, and pains, you know, pangs and pains, and my sense as though of hemlock I had drank. So the condition of the speaker like this, as though he had drunk hemlock. Hemlock, you know, poison, a poisonous tree. So like this situation, so such type of situation here the speaker feels, or emptied some dull opiate to the drains, or another feelings that the speaker seems that uh, he he has dull opiate. Opiate, you know, that is of him a drug, you know, one type of drug of him, you know. So dull of him to the drain, drain to the drain, drain, you know, the last drop. So it means the writers drunk, or the speaker drinks the last drop of him, of the drug. And so here the situation is that the writer is full of pains and full of pangs and suffering. So this is the suffering, or this is the pains of the speaker. So also here, in the fourth line, you also find another one. The 1 minute passed and Lethe words had sung. So here the continuously the speaker says his pain. So his pains like that here, that uh, uh, he he feels very sad, as though 1 minute past or 1 minute ago the writer drank the water of Lethe. So what is Lethe? Lethe actually the river, the name of river that follows the underworld. Underworld, this is the actually this is the mythological reference. This is allusion. So the poem also the famous for use of allusion or mythological characteristics. So that is why so also it is a very disgusting matter. So Lethe is the river, name of river, and in Greek mythology, and there is a thought that, or there is a saying that if anyone drinks the water of Lethe, so that times he can forget all his past or all his sadness or sufferings. So like this. So here the poet feels like this. He just drinks the water of Lethe. So this is he thinks like this. Actually not, but he thinks like this. And this not through envy of thy happy Lord. So these four lines indicate that this is the thing like that the speaker feels. And here the writer says why such type of feelings he has, because of the happy happiness of thou or thee. So what is thee? So thy. So here thee or thy or thou is the that is nightingale. So here listening the happy song of nightingale, here the writer feels like that. So here in this line writer says it is not the envy, it is not the jealousy of thy happy Lord. Thy means nightingale, so nightingale is very happy. There is nothing sadness in nightingale. So that is why here the writer says it is not the envy of thy happy Lord. I am not envious, I am not jealous of your happy Lord, but being too happy in thine happiness. Basically, I am very happy. I am so much happy that I feel like this. Okay, understand this line. Actually, seemingly the line is very much difficult, but if you go through deeply, so that times you will find the meaning. So finally I should say once again that so the speaker says that I am so much happy uh, listening the happiness of nightingale, and for uh, I am so much happy that I feel like this. Okay, so this is the idea, this is the meaning of the sentence. Sorry, it is very tough for me to make you understand about the meaning of this poem, because the language is not easy to make you understand in the foreign language. That thou light wings reared of the trees in some melodious plot of descents green and shadows numberless, singest of summer in full of thrust is. So here you will find another mythological characters or allusion, that is Dryad. So Dryad, this is the Dryad. So Dryad actually the wood nymphs or the fairy uh, who lives in a tree, and from where she tries to find out or tries to look at the others there. So this is the image, and this is the image of Lethe, the river Lethe. Sorry, this is the river Lethe, the water of Lethe, and this is the Dryad. Actually, she is the fairy or nymph, wood nymph, lives in wood, trees or wood, and from where she looks at other things. So this actually was. So here that thou means nightingale. So the speaker says thou, you nightingale, you are like light wings reared of the tree. Okay, so this is the example of allusion as well as the example of simile, because here the nightingale is compared to light wing reared. Light wing, that is very much easy to fly in the tree. In some melodious plot of Venus Green. One type of tree here, and he has or it has melodious plot, melodious song, and shadows numberless, numberless, countless, and singest of summer of full thrust is, and you the nightingale, you sing or your song of summer that is full throat is, so that is very much full of comfort. Okay, so this is the first stanza. I think I have lot of trouble to make you understand the first stanza. So now I will show you the sixth stanza of the poem, because the poem is very big, so that is why it is very much tough for me to make you understand all the stanza within 40 minutes. So that is why I should say sorry for my limitation. So this is the sixth stanza of the poem. So here you will find John Keats. You will find the line. This is the darkling I listen, and for many a time I have been half in love with Isful Death, and called him soft names in many a mused rhyme, to take into the air my quiet breath. And now more than ever seems it race to die, to seize upon the midnight with no pain, while thou art pouring forth thy soul abode in such an stress. So in this stanza, basically you will find that idea that is a very important theme of the poem, that is escapism. Escape, that is flee. So escapism, you will find the idea. So basically escapism is the idea or the tendency of flee from life for the pangs and pains of life or suffering. Okay, so to um, to be free from suffering or pangs and pains of life, whenever anyone have the tendency to flee from life, so that times that tendency will be called escapism. So here you will find this idea from this line. So darkling I listen. So darkling, darkness. So here the speaker listen the darkness only, and for many a time. So here this is the death actually. So darkling actually death. So I listen the call for death for many a time. I have been half in love with his full death. So here the speaker says that he has the love with the death, is full death. So to the writer or to the speaker, so life is so much burden, and so living on earth is very much painful for him. So that is why to him death is very much as full, that is comfortable. So here this is the this is the very idea of escapism, and called him soft names in many a muse rhyme. So here the to the writers, the death is very much soft names. Okay, so to writer, death is very much soft, because he's burdened with the suffering or the deprivation or the poverty of lives, or burden of his life, and to take into the air my quest breath. And he says it is very easy that it is time to take my breath. So here the speaker desires to be dead, and now more than ever seems it reach to die. So in this line the writer says, so it is the right time, it is the reach, it is the blessing time to me, and more than race or more than blessing to die. So this is the right time to die, and to says upon the midnight with no pains. So such type of time at midnight, if we die, and hearing or listening your the song of nightingale, so that times it is very easy for him to die, and there will be no pain. At the time of death, there will be a huge pain. But the writer says, if this midnight, at midnight the nightingale sings. So listening the sings song of nightingale, the writer desires to death, and he desires that, or he wishes that there will be no pain to death. something. So this is very much sorrowful, or this is very much pessimistic, I think, idea from here. And while thou art pouring forth thou art, thou means nightingale, and pouring forth thy soul abroad and in such ecstasy. So here it is the ecstasy. So to listen or to have the art here, the nightingale song. So the nightingale song is full of ecstasy, and listening the song of nightingale, at the time of listening song of nightingale, it is very easy to the writer to die without any pain. So this is the concept of escapism. The last stanza I will show. Forlorn, the very word is like a bell to toll me back from thee to my soul self. Adieu, the fancy cannot sit so well as she is famed to do, deceiving elf. Adieu, adieu, thy plaintive anthem fades past the near meadows over the still streams, up the hillside, and now this bird deep in the next valley glares. Was it a vision or a waking dream? Fleet is that music. Do I walk or sleep? So in the line you will find the forlorn, I have to hurry actually. Forlorn, loneliness. So forlorn, the very word is like a bell. So to writer, so full of pessimistic, here. So to the writer, the word forlorn or loneliness, the word is like a bell, and to tell me back, to toll me back from thee to my soul save. So forlorn words. So actually the life of John Keats, is full of suffering and loneliness. So that is why the loneliness, the word is very much like the alarm, troll me back, and from the means here the from nightingale and to my soul. So here, so only every person is alone, and there is no one beside him. So such type of idea, such type of thought here we will find from John Keats and the speakers of this poem. So adieu, so goodbye. Adieu means goodbye. Goodbye. The fancy cannot sit so well as she is famed to do, deceiving her. So this two line is very important. Pessimistic idea actually. Here the writer says the fancy, the imagination. So our life is full of imagination. If you have the imagination, if you have the emotion, if you have the fancy, so that times your life will be very much colorful. But if there is no fancy, if there is no imagination, so your life will be very much so boring. But here writer knows the reality. Here writer knows the reality. Writers knows that the fancy always cheat us. So how? Because when we are in full of imagination or emotion, so that times we forget our reality. So that is why we cannot know or we cannot understand the diplomacy or the activities or the tendency of fancy. But here writer understands that the fancy cannot sit so well. So the fancy, the imagination cannot work now. The fancy cannot sit him now because he has the limitation. He can understand. He can understand. The writer can understand here that fancy cannot sit anymore so well. And as she is famed, she had the fancy personified, personification. So she is famed actually famous. Basically, fancy or imagination is famous to do deceiving fairy. Elf means fairy. So fancy or imagination that is out of reality always deceive us. But now the writer says that she or fancy cannot deceive or deceive him. So that is why the writer says, adieu, adieu, goodbye, goodbye. Thy plaintive anthem fade. Thy means here the nightingale. So, nightingale, your plaintive anthem, your song fades, gradually fades, and past the near meadow over the still streams, up the hillside, and now this buried deep the next valley grades. So this is the description of nature, these three lines. So these three lines you will find the natural description where the nightingale lives. So the three lines is the description of nature. And then the last two lines the writer says, was it a vision? Is it a vision or walking dream? Fleet is that music. Do I walk or sleep? So here a writer also in doubtful the whether such type of idea is it right or wrong, is it a working dream or vision. So such type of things you will find. Actually, this is the full of pessimism or full of escapism. So now I will show you the theme of the poem, escapism. Escapism, I have already discussed the tendency to seek distraction and relief from the unpleasant reality, especially by seeking entertainment or engaging in fantasy. So escapism is a mental diversion from unpleasant or boring aspect of daily life, typically through the activities involving imagination or entertainment. So escapism may be used to occupy oneself away from the persistent feelings of depression or general sadness. So here I should say one thing that you should not mean that escapism means that you want to die. It necessarily not. So escapism, you may escapism, you have a boringness or you have tiredness, so that times you may leave from your regular work and go to the nature. So such type of things also called escapism. So this is the symbolic uh, picture. So escapism doesn't mean that you only going to die. So this is the idea. So here the poet realized that death can offer a permanent escape from the pain, disturbed by the misfortune of his life. He wants the finest win and his poetic imagination the throw away the horrific realities of life. So this is the very idea, very important idea from the poet you find. And his desire to drink, to be drunk or unconscious shows that he does not to remember his hardship or suffering. However, what enchants the readers is the flight of imagination that temporarily takes him away from the boards of life. So such type of idea uh, gives relieves the writers from the oars, from the sufferings of life. So this is the escapism. So it is the main idea, I think, from the poem. You should study from escapism. So now another poem, but I should ensure you that so only this poem you will find such type of idea. But I will discuss the next poem, Ode to the Christian, and so there you will find the art, the permanence of art. But here you will find the impermanence. So this very poem is very much different from the other poem of this writer, because John Keats also has the poem of optimism. So writer here, Ode to the Nightingale, here you will find they explore the wonder of life and death. It comprises the experience of the poet, his visions and poetic imagination you will find. And its popularity lies in fact that it represents things related to life, art, literature and nature. So this idea, life, art, literature and nature also find in this poem. So another subject matter here you will find the poem explores two main issues actually. The first, the connection between agony and joy, and the second is the connection between life and death. The poet very artistically draws a comparison between natural and imaginative world and the world of a nightingale. And saddened he tries to seek comfort and harmony in his imaginative world, but the pull of his consciousness brings him back to comfort the heart-wrenching realities of life. So such type of idea also you will find agony, and the side by side you will find the joy, from the Song of Nightingale, or agony, the realities or pangs and sufferings of the writer, and life and death. So every idea you will find from this poem. So another idea you will find from this poem, that is death and poetic imagination. So these are the major themes of this words, and Keats says death is an unavoidable phenomenon, unavoidable. We all have the taste of death. So this is the very true. This is the really true. So this death is an unavoidable phenomenon, and he paints it in both negative and positive ways. Its presence sucks the human spirit, while on the other hand, it offers the realm of free eternity. The poet also presents the life and melodious song of the nightingale in juxtaposition, the side by side. So such type of idea you will find. So death and poetic imagination. So here basically the writers glorifies the death with the with his imaginary talent. So now we will find another theme, the immortality and mortality. So in the poem you will find side by side mortality and immortality. So immortality of the nightingale and mortality of the human being. So to the poet, life is mortal, but the song of nightingale is immortal. So it has been a source of enjoyment for centuries and will stay so even after his demise, distraction. And though he keeps himself engaged in the beautiful and charming world of imagination, he cannot stay there for good. Therefore, he accepts that imagination is just a short source of life. So, to him, imagination is a short source of peace. So, imagination is there is mortality to imagination, but the song of nightingale, that is immortal. So another theme you will find here, that is death, time, and impermanence. So such of idea I have already discussed. You should go through the slides. Time is very limited, so that is why I have another things to show. So here you find the drunkenness, consciousness, and isolation. So that I have already discussed, drunkenness here, and consciousness and isolation. So every idea you will find from these slides. This is less important theme, but the main important theme I have already discussed. And lastly, you will find the art and nature, beauty, etc. So in the poem, you also find the nature, natural scenery. Whenever I was going through the text, so that times I will show you the nature and beauty and art as well. So art of nightingale, art of the song of nightingale. So another memorable line here I will show you, that thou was not born for death, immortal bird. No hungry generation treat thee down. The voice I heard this passing night was heard in ancient days by emperor and clown. So here you will find the glorification of the immortal bird, that is nightingale. So here the writer says that thou, you nightingale, the personification, so wasn't born for death. You will not be died. Immortal bird, you immortal, and no hungry generation treat thee down. Treat, that is demolish or destroy. Okay, so no generation can destroy you. And the voice I heard this passing night, and your voice, your song was heard even in ancient days by emperor and clown. So everyone, so today and the past and future, so every time uh, your song will be heard. So here I will show you now the NU, at last NU question analysis here, that I have already discussed. Here you will find what is hemlock. So hemlock, is a poisonous plant that was used in ancient world to produce poisonous juice. So this is the image of poison, and here also find why does the poet's heart act in the poems. I have already discussed, because the poet's heart acts because of the excessive joy he feels or listening to the melodious song of the nightingale. So this is the very important short question. So another important literary term, that is onomatopoeia, that is in the poem. Onomatopoeia is a formation or figure of speech or use of words that suggest by their sounds. So word suggest the sound. So whenever you will hear a word, and that times it suggests a sound at your ear, so that times such type of word will be called onomatopoeia. The objects or the idea being named or imitations of natural sounds by words. For example, when you will hear the word bang, or buzz. So that times there is a tip top, the dropping of rain, tip top. So such type of word when you listen or when you hear, so that times you have a feeling of a hearing or feeling of sound. So word suggests the sound, so that times such type of situation will be called onomatopoeia. So here in this line, in this poem, you will find the use of onomatopoeia. And what type of figure of speech here? So such type of writing, I think you will find. Time is really short. That is why I have to quick. So Lethi here, I have already discussed the Lethi, the Greek. This is the image of Lethi here. I think you will. I have already discussed. Dryad, who is Dryad? I have already. So this is the Dryad is the image. Dryad is the wood nymph or a fairy. So I have already discussed. Requiem as another word. Requiem, the song of mourning, a sabers to pray for the soul of the recently dead, very important Requiem. So I think you will go through the slide. Time is almost over. Another, this is the what classical allusion do you find in O2 Nightingale? So such type of classical allusion you will find, Lethe, I have already discussed, trade, Flora, this is the image of Flora, goddess of flower, and Hippocrene. So such type of allusion, you will find in this poem if you go through the text. And also here find another middle age also mentioned in this poem. And now this is the short question, so you can short question, this short question also important. Justify John Keats as an escapist. And romanticism, this is the romanticism, and this is the line for explanation. So this is the broad question. It is very important broad question. The critical appreciation of the poem and the comment note to Nightingale as a romantic poetry. So this is the romantic poetry, and in my previous classes I discusses the characteristic of romantic poetry. This is the course of romantic poetry, so you should know the main characteristics. So I showed you the slides of sources that I am using. So however, the time is over. So thank you very much for all for being with me. And I think so this is the time of coronavirus, so you should maintain the health rules and staying at home. You should follow this class lecture. I think the class lecture will be a great help for you. So thank you very much. Well wishes always. Allah Hafiz.